On Watchdog, right, which is what I was going to talk about, there's a really good item about 2 months ago, and it was an item about a woman who would look at you, just look at you, and tell you if your aura was cracked. And then she'd charge you £680 to repair your aura. Now, that's not a consumer issue. That's a fucking idiot issue, right? If you're getting fooled by that, you don't deserve the £680, right? And my favourite thing about it was the item had a headline. The item was titled, "Bogus Psychic Scam." As if there's any other kind of psychic. As if you could have finished it with a real psychic going, "Well, on behalf of genuine psychics, we'd just like to say we're very angry about this. And so are the dead." I did a television show a few years ago in Ireland called The Kelly Show, right? And on The Kelly Show that night was a woman called Sharon Neal. Sharon Neal sells herself as the blind psychic, right? And the host turned to her and said, she says, "Sharon, would you do a reading for the audience here?" And Sharon turned to the audience and says, "Has anyone here lost a Mary?" In Ireland! A forest of hands shoot up. People are always losing Marys in Ireland. Some people had lost a couple on the way to the studio that night. If you sit down too quickly in Ireland, Marys will roll out of your pocket into the gap in the couch. And even then, she kept getting stuff wrong, and the host did a brilliant thing. He turned to her and he said, "There's something that nobody ever says to psychics." He goes, "Sharon, you got a lot of that wrong." And Sharon said an amazing thing. On national television, she went, "Well, sometimes there are so many voices coming through, it's difficult to know which is which." Basically, she went to the telly and went, "I'm so psychic, I'm shit at being a psychic." You know? "I'm too psychic for my own good, that's my problem," you know what I mean? That's not her laugh. Oh, I love that kind of stuff, like whatever. But all of that kind of nonsense of all the fairy tales, homeopathy, chiropractic, all of this kind of stuff, like whatever, ridiculous. And they make billions every year. The wellness industry, you know. If you're not sick, you've got wellness, right? Oh, sure, we all like to talk to somebody to have a bit of a rub, but that doesn't mean you're any better or worse off after. Ridiculous stuff. Nutrition. Oh, I've spoken about this before. Here's my favorite little fact. If anyone describes this ever to you as a nutritionist, just be slightly wary, right? What they're saying may be perfectly true, but nutritionist isn't a protected term. Anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, right? Dietitian is the legally protected term, right? Dietitian is like dentist, and nutritionist is like toothologist. I mean, I could call myself a nutritionist, and I'd be a phenomenally popular nutritionist. People would come from miles around. I'd be going, "Listen, you look fantastic. Let's have a pint. Come on, come on, let's have a pint. You fat bastard, I'll wrestle you," right? It's ridiculous, and it is just, even though there's loads of evidence for these kind of stuff, we still, on some level, would sooner believe the story as our mother tells us about a woman she knew who had a headache, and then she rubbed a cat on the side of her head, and the headache was gone the next day, right? And we'll even take some things for granted about our own health. There's a thing on the cover of the London Evening Standard. The London Evening Standard, during the year, had this thing where it said 10 symptoms you should not ignore. And you read that and you're thinking, right, this is going to be something which I've had for a while, but it's been low level and I've never done anything about it, but it hasn't gone away, and maybe I should get that checked out. That's what you presume it is, you know what I mean? And like, oh, that pain in my arm is still there. I can't seem to clear that chesty cough. The first 3 symptoms you should not ignore were rectal bleeding, loss of height, and sudden blindness. Who ignores sudden blindness? Who sits in the office at lunchtime going, "Oh, who turned out the lights? Oh, I know, I can't see a thing, it's awful, I'm no use to anyone today. Here, I'll answer phones. That's all I can do, that's all I'll be good for today. Oh, don't make a fuss, don't make a fuss, don't make a fuss." And by the way, I wouldn't dream of lecturing you on how to live your life. I wouldn't dream of lecturing you about health. That would be arrogant of me, like as arrogant as these people. Like, look at me, I'm a big guy, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm no model for anyone when it comes to health. I winter well, as we say, euphemistically. And I know this, it gets reflected to me in weird ways. We went to buy a car during the year. Myself and the wife went to buy a car, and we're sitting in the garage, and on the garage forecourt, they had a little 2-seater sports car, and I said, "Listen, I know we're not going to buy, can I just sit in it? I've always wanted one, can I just sit in it?" She goes, "All right, you can." And I sat in the little 2-seater sports car, and I just looked at her and went, "How do I look?" She goes, "You look like Noddy."
Hi, this is Dara Ó Briain. This is my YouTube channel, so subscribe and like to get more funny clips.